You hate ads? I hate ads. You know what I like? Patreon.com/Inkdependence keeps this blog ad-free. Hello folks, welcome to Inkdependence. I'm Mike, and this is a few little things here that Esterbrook sent me to check out and to show to all of you. The first and the outside thing that you can see here is the new Pin Nook from Esterbrook. This is a new product that replaces and updates their original Pin Nook, which had a slide-out tray, had like this awesome paisley fabric inside, and it was kind of a vegan leather alternative, a pleathery sort of situation. This one is a new design. A couple of problems with the old one that I've heard of is that sometimes it's hard to pull the tray out. It looked a lot like this, and you sort of pull the tray out, and it got kind of hard. And also, the other thing was that your pins would rattle around. And so there are two pins in here, and nothing. No sound. You don't feel them move. So that's those are two big updates. So to open this one, instead of pulling the tray out, you flip this little tab up, and there you go. This tab has one of those magnetic clippy snap things. It's not a real snap. You don't have to press down. You just got to find the right indentation. And with a little bit of practice, it's pretty easy to do. And this isn't going to come open accidentally, like it's just gonna let go. Magnets are magic, man. On the top, you have this sort of cushy. You can see this here. This is actually a very nice, soft material. I'm not really sure exactly what it is. Probably some kind of vinyl. And then on the inside, has room for two pens. They have these up to, I think, 12 pens in capacity and that sort of thing. But I've only tried the two, which is this one. All right. Inside here are the other two things we'll talk about. Let's set these aside for just a sec while we're finishing up with the Nook. There we go. You can see on the inside that you have the same kind of fabric you had in the other one, except it's not a loud paisley, which I kind of miss. I loved the paisley, but this has the Esterbrook Forever symbol in there, which is very on brand for them. You also have, I actually asked Carrie, who sent these out, Carrie at Kenro. They are the distributor of Esterbrook. I was like, what is the symbol? Like, how does it read? And the idea is that it's the Esterbrook E, which is this kind of loopy E, and then they mirrored that to the other side, so you end up with this sort of snowflake star X looking situation, and they call it that the Esterbrook Forever symbol. And I think that's kind of cool. I would not have seen that if I hadn't been explained to me, however. So there you go. That's what it is. I like this case. I think it's a little bit on the expensive side, but it is kind of a flashy, fancy case with the off-color stitching and that sort of thing. This goes for about $75, give or take, on the internets for this 2-pin version. Of course, other versions cost other amounts of dollars. So, and the other thing that I have a little bit of a concern of is the attachment points here at the end. I think that if you just use this normally and actually like take care of your goods, this won't be a problem. But I'm not sure if this is stitched together or if it's only glued, but I have a feeling that if you or like your kid or something got a hold of this and gave it a good yank, I think it could probably do some damage. I'm not going to, because I'm going to send these back, but I think that's the only other thing I have any quibble about, and that's only if you treat this very roughly. This isn't a rough and tumble case. This is a be refined kind of case, and I kind of dig that. I think it looks nice sitting on the desk. I like to just kind of set it like that. Have your pens handy. You don't have to put them in the loop all the time. They can just be hanging out there, and you want them, you just pull them out. Now, this would be a little bit tough to get a big pen with no clip. I tried putting a big pen with no clip in this elastic band, and if you have a big one, it's going to be hard to get out of there. Or if you for some reason put it in clip down, like you're going to have to do a little finagling at the end to sort of get a grip on it. But with a clip, it's no problem. Just grab the clip and sort of go like this, and it comes out easily. So there you go. I think this is a very handsome looking case. I really like the dark blue and the red. Blue and red is, of course, a color combo that I'm going to be into. Okay, so what's in here? Well, what's in here are two pens that are sort of limited. These are the Esterbrook Maraschino Esties. Esterbrook has been coming out with different colorways for their Estie pen. This is my original Estie. This is an Estie Oversized. I have here the MV, modern to vintage converter, so you can use all the Esterbrook nibs. And this one has been kind of in constant rotation since I got it, I don't know, 2 years ago or something. I really like this pen. It's got a great feel to it, and I think it's very classy. Now, Esterbrook does sometimes release different colorways. There's a honey one. There's the, what's the other one called? Evergreen, I think, is the green one. There are a couple others. There's a purple. This one, I think, is very nice looking. Audrey has one of the green ones. I don't have that on me. But I think the classic like palladium and black is pretty dope. This, however, is a really nice contender. And I'm honestly not sure which one I like more. So the Maraschino colorway has either a palladium clip and a white Esterbrook logo here, or the gold clip and gold logo there, and the nibs and the rest of the hardware match too. And generally, I'm full on silver hardware all the time. But with this one, I kind of think the gold looks good too. And I am not a big gold hardware fan. So for me to be like, I don't know which one I like better, that means that this must look pretty good. The other thing is that and Audrey pointed this out, is that I generally like the oversized pen better. I just think it's kind of a better looking pen. I like the extra size. And also I really like the interior a little bit more. So maybe that's sort of skewing my perception. I didn't actually ink the big one because I know how the oversized works. I've been using this for a long time, but I never really used the regular size Esterbrook, I don't think. And so I wanted to try and give this a shot. So you can see some differences here right off. The caps are the same on both of these, except for, of course, the color of the clip and the writing there. Inside, you have this spring-loaded cap, which you can see here, like, has a bit of a bounce. There's some like resistance when you put it on, and that's because it is spring loaded and it like conforms to the section, and it keeps your nib from drying out. It gives a very nice seal. These pens do not dry out, which I think is an awesome feature. Here at the threads, you can see there's a big difference between the oversized and the standard, and that is that the standard one has sort of acrylic threads, and the oversized has like more deeply set and built-in metal threads. For me, I think the metal threads and the longer overall like form factor of the pen is better for my big hands. But these are both fairly good sized pens. Even the standard, not oversized one is a solid size. Like, this is not a small pen. It's not a pocket pen. But for some reason, I just kind of like the oversized one better. So this is a matter of preference for me. Of course, the oversized one does cost a bit more by about $50, which is, perhaps a barrier for some. But for $50, I think it feels a little bit better to me. Now, here you can see we have two or body bands here. One of them is actually the section threads. So the section has metal threads on it, and it has this silver trim ring, and then this one is an extra trim ring to sort of balance it out, and I think that's nice. Inside, you'll see it is a standard international converter, or you can use a cartridge if you like. It does come with the Esterbrook branded converter. Let's put that guy back together there. And then the section here, you actually can get, of course, the MV section, which is this modern to vintage section, so you can use all of those old Esterbrook nibs, and it's a little bit skinnier. It has a bit of a pinch. This is a very comfortable section size for me at about 11 to 12 millimeters, depending on where you grip it. It's got a very slight increase, about a millimeter between here and here, and I think it's a very, very comfortable section, as is the MV section. Both are quite nice. All right, let's take a look at how it writes. Let's take a look at it next to a whole bunch of other pens, and then get out of here. Hold on just a sec. Let me grab some pens. Okay, so I said this was not a small pen, and I wasn't kidding. So none of these are small pens. I'll throw a small pen in here because, hey, why not? Actually, I'll throw two small pens in here. There we go, another Esterbrook. So here we have the Kaweco Sport, which is a pocket pen, obviously. We have the Esterbrook JR, which is another new pen from Esterbrook. We have the Sailor 1911 standard size. We have the the Lamy All-Star, the Platinum 3776, the TWSBI Eco, the Leonardo Momento Zero, and then the Franklin-Christoph Model 31, and the Pilot 823. And all of these are good-sized pens. And then you have these two, which are the Maraschinos, the Maraschino Estes, and the oversized Estie just like basically fills top to bottom of my pen tray here. These are all smooshed to the bottom. So even the standard size Estie, though, is a little bit longer than an 823, and of course longer than all of these. So this is a fairly good size pen, even the standard size. So why do I like the oversized better? I don't know. Maybe it's just perception or something. I don't know what to tell you. So there you go. Let me take off all the caps. We'll see how these look uncapped. And there you have it. So uncapped, make sure these are all down. Uncapped, these two pens are pretty average. You do have definitely some extra size on the oversized, and then the regular standard Estie actually becomes a bit shorter than the 31 and the 823, and it becomes more in line with the rest of these. Now, I'm just noticing actually that Yeah, the Oversized is about the same length uncapped as the All-Star and the TWSBI Eco, which are a great length for me. And it's just about the same as these other ones, it's just a hair longer. But I think that's a little bit noticeable. I'm I'm really kind of surprised that it's the same size as these two. Although I do really like writing with those pens, so maybe that's just something about me. So there you go. Here's the oh, and I didn't show a close up of the nib. Here's a close up of that nib. So the gold nib on this one. These are Yovo nibs, and this one's a fine. And you get the Esterbrook and the what's the number there? Esterbrook in the 1858. Engraved into this gold colored nib. This is a steel nib, but it is gold colored. To match the hardware and all of that. So there you go. Okay, let's do a little writing sample of these folks. Okay, so here we have the Estie. This is the standard sized one. And you can see it definitely fits in my hand just fine. So this is the Esterbrook Estie. Maraschino. And this is the most times I've written Maraschino ever in my life. I'm not sure I've ever written that word before. Esterbrook Estie Maraschino. This is an extra fine nib. It's a little bit more weight. I was waving this one around for a while. And this ink is Diamine Beethoven. B-E-E-T. Yeah. I actually had like a little thing. I was like, can I spell Beethoven? I can. I got it right. Which is a very nice, like very dark green. I don't usually go for extra fine nibs, but I said, you know what? Well, why not, man? Let's give extra fine a try. And this extra fine nib is quite nice. You get a little bit of feedback, but it's an extra fine nib, and that's kind of how those roll. You'll also see there is a bit of a darker band here right up at the top, and that's because I filled this by putting it into the sample vial, and some of the ink wicked up between the section and the nib unit here. And you can totally fix that. Just unscrew the nib unit and dab it off with a paper towel. I think with a pen this translucent, what you're going to want to do is probably fill the converter and then put that in the pen instead of putting the nib of the pen in there, because otherwise you'll get a little bit of ink trapped in there. And if you're like me, that might bother you just a little bit. Like, I want to get that out of there, but it's too late now. All right, now I haven't inked up the Oversized because these are loaners that I'm going to be sending back, and I actually have an Oversized already inked up here. This is not the Yovo nib, but I'll just show you how this one works. What's the number on this? 2314. So this is the Esterbrook Estie. Oversized. And I don't remember what this is inked with. Mystery. It's a very nice dark blue, though. I'll tell you that. But what the heck is this inked with? I don't know. All right. So very nice mystery ink. And you can see that you get a little bit of flare when you're writing with this ink, with this pen nib, because this nib is an oblique stub. And so I tend to rotate my pen inwards as I write. I go like this. And so I need to get both sides on the page, and so that oblique really helps me out. If you're a person who writes correctly, you don't need an oblique, and it's not going to be a great feeling if you do use one. So keep that in mind. But these are both, I think, very nice pens, and I don't really hesitate to recommend the Esterbrook Estie to people. The price ranges for these, the small one, actually, let's see, the rollerball. Let's see. Oh, here we go. The rollerball costs $148. I don't have that one on hand, and it's the same size as the standard Estie here, which is at $156. So if you're gonna get a rollerball, just spend like what is that? $8 more and get yourself a fountain pen. Hey, why not? And then the oversized one here retails around $200. Now, those are of course the street prices. The manufacturer suggested retail price is more like $200 and $250. But whatever, there's about a $50 difference between these two. So if you want that extra size, that extra heft, then I would say go for the oversized. If you don't, stay with the smaller one and stick around for just a sec. I'll have an image here with all the weights and measurements for both pens coming up soon. So like, comment, subscribe. Thank you very much to Carrie at Kenro for letting me borrow these pens to show y'all, and I'll see you in another video. Peace out.